Thank you. Good evening. I'm Stephen Ames. Many of you know me. I've been in the community quite a while. It would be a privilege and an honor to serve as County Commissioner for Walla County. I have spent most of my adult life raising a family, farming, ranching, and serving as County Coroner, sitting on various boards, commissions in this county, and being involved in numerous community activities. My leadership philosophy has always been to listen and watch what is going on to find out what is happening before making decisions or changes. Reasons why I'm running for County Commissioner. First would be my desire to represent the people of Western Walla County, and then eventually, hopefully, all of Walla County. I want to be involved in land use decisions. Given the agriculture and the ag lands of the county, land use decisions can have far-reaching and unforeseen impact on people and businesses. So, in my view, the job of the County Commission is to make those impacts minimal or as positive as possible. As a County Commissioner, I would watch, listen, learn before making decisions. I will listen with an open mind to any individual, as I gather this information. And given my past experience as a rancher, farmer, public school board member, rural library district board member, I'm the current director on an irrigation district, and 25 years as county coroner, I believe I have the necessary qualifications to effectively work on the Board of County Commissioners to give the county the best leadership possible. Thank you very much, and please vote on August 5th.
Mr. Duncan, you've got 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Jim Duncan. My wife Esther and I, start that over. We live in Burbank. We have 3 small children. I have 3 sons, Christian age 10, Jason age 4, and my youngest Gabriel is age 2. I'm a little bit of a late starter, and I'll get into why. It has to do with a military career. My son Christian attends Columbia Elementary School in Burbank. We live on a small 2.5-acre family ranch. I am currently the director of Walla County Emergency Management. I'm an appointed department head, and I work for the county commissioners, along with all the other department heads in the county and the elected officials. Right out of high school, I joined the United States Air Force, enlisted. I was a medic. I served in Desert Storm in the Gulf War. But my intent was to eventually, put myself through college. And after my first tour of the United States Air Force, I did that. I went to Louisiana State University, used my GI Bill. I participated in ROTC. I got a bachelor's degree in sociology with a minor in criminology. But I also obtained my commission in the United States Air Force. I became an officer, aircraft maintenance officer, with a specialty in nuclear weapons and cruise missiles. I've managed very large budgets and led a lot of people. After my career in the military, I followed in a career in public service as emergency management. I was with Benton County for many years as in emergency management, and then I came to Walla County about 3 years ago to be your director of emergency management. Currently, why I want to be the commissioner. Really, as a public servant, that's my next step in my career goals. I've been a public servant for a long time. Everything in my life, from the military to emergency management, has led me to this point. My education, I missed a step. I also earned a graduate degree, a master's of management and operations from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University while I was an officer in the Air Force. I have organizational leadership skills, I'm a team builder, and I have good financial management skills. And those are three critical skills for a county commissioner to have. Thank you.
First question to be answered by Mr. Duncan and then Mr. Ames. It's several parts to the question. What is the total county budget for this year, 2014? And if we assume that the county budget had to be cut by 10% for 2015, where would you make those cuts and why? So first part, what's the total budget this year, 2015, if we had to cut it by 10%, where would you make the cuts and why? First Mr. Duncan, then Mr. Ames.
Wow. Talk about putting me in a bad situation. Currently, the budget is approximately $60 million, $15 million of which is current expense funds or general funds, which is what the property taxes generate that revenue source. I participate with commissioners every year for the last 3 years dealing with that question. And 10% is a really big chunk.
Okay, 5%.
Okay,
I'm not going to reduce it any more than that.
okay, you know, we'd have to basically cut services, and I don't think the taxpayers would like their services cut. Probably would have to do what the commissioners did in 2011, was to do furloughs. We don't want to lay people off. You lay people off, your insurance rates go up because you lose members of the insurance pool. You have to pay their unemployment. You don't want to lay people off. That's the worst case scenario. So probably would have to do furloughs.
All right, Mr. Ames, same question. What's the budget this year total? And if you had to cut 5%, where and why?
Well, I'm going to go with Mr. Duncan's estimate of 60 million and then 15 million current expense. With my years of experience with county commission, or working with the commissioners, cutting 5% can be done, but it usually involves travel and training, which can impact the performance of any office. If those have already been cut down, then furloughs would have to come next. Or cutting hours at the courthouse, which has happened in the past too. Just limiting hours that is open for service to the public.
Next question, staying with the issue of money, we'll flip the question around. Last time was cutting the budget. This is the question. Assume that the county was given $5 million, no strings attached, but it had to be spent in 2015. Where would you spend that money and why there? So you're getting $5 million, has to be spent next year. Where do you spend it and why? Starting with you, Mr. Ames.
That's a nice salary increase. Where would you spend $5 million?
Candidate Ames would increase salary.
I think it would be capital expenditures would be where I would put that money, not hiring new people where that money would then run out the next year, then you might have to lay them off. So that'd be like buying all new patrol cars for the sheriff's office, if that would work for you, Sheriff. Even all the other offices that have equipment that has been aging and repair bills start building up, like printers, computers. But that would be where I would spend, would be the infrastructure, capital expenditures.
Mr. Duncan, $5 million, where are you going to spend it next year?
Awesome, great. That's an easy question because I am a member of the county executive leadership team, and we talk about projects and what needs to be done, and try to rank those projects in priority based on what funds we have available. Projects that need to be done are definitely the sheriff's office deputies need new patrol cars. We need to bring the public services out of the courthouse and move district court into the courthouse and secure the courthouse. That's a multi-million-dollar project. We need to upgrade facilities. We have a lot of old facilities out there. And if there's anything left, we need to put it in a reserve account, probably for vehicle and equipment replacement, which always gets us every couple of years.
One of the questions that someone here wrote, and I will follow up on a comment that Mr. Duncan just made with that question with respect to the reserve. Tell us, please, what you mean by the reserve account. How much is it? And whatever it is now, under what circumstances would you reduce the reserve, draw it down below what it is now? We will start with you, Mr. Duncan.
Okay, well, there's not just one reserve account. There's many reserve accounts. There's a health benefits reserve account. There's a reserve account in Public Works roads. There's a reserve account. The one that probably the question is talking about is the ordinance for the commissioners to keep 25% of their operating budget in reserve. There's several reasons why that money is needed to be there. The percentage is a philosophical debate, but that money needs to be there. One, it's not only a savings account, it's the emergency fund, and I know this because I'm the director of emergency management. If we had an earthquake right now, who's going to pay for the first 3 days? Well, we are, okay? It's also needed because we only get revenue, property tax, twice a year, but we pay bills every two weeks, all year long. So if we did not have that money there to float our bills, basically till we receive our next flow of income, we would have to take out short-term loans and pay interest. So, and it's also for a recession. If we have a recession, you know, that's basically 3 months operating money for the county. Again, the percentage is a philosophical debate, and I'm willing to continue that conversation.
Thank you. Mr. Ames, same question. Could you repeat? The question is with respect to reserve or reserves, so what is it? What are they? How much is held in reserve, and under what circumstances would you dip in and reduce the amount of the reserve that's presently being held?
Okay, well, Mr. Duncan states that there's a 25% of the budget is in reserve. I'd have to agree with just basically everything he said. In what circumstances would we dip below that would be the emergencies, where the monies are necessary to operate the county and keep it running. If the other funds, say federal funds or tax revenues, don't come in, then the funds have to be drawn upon, and that's the reason for reserve.
Staying with the issue of revenue and money, the question is, what is the primary source of revenue that funds the Walla Walla County budget? In your opinion, should that be the primary source of revenue? Why or why not? And if you had to create or find a new funding source for Walla Walla County, what would it be and why? Beginning with you, Mr. Ames.
Well, I will admit right up front that I don't know the answer to that question, the primary source. I know that we have the property tax revenue, and but from the other sources, I don't know. What would be a new source of revenue other than property taxes? Would be sales tax increases for specific items, such as the law enforcement tax, funding, deciding on the type of operation or the type of situation that needs money, and then have to tax it as a user fee to to make that possible. All I have.
Mr. Duncan, same question. What is the current primary funding source? And if you had to find a new source, what would it be and why?
Wow, for me to go into all the details, I would run out of time in 2 minutes, but I'll hit the high points. The $60 million budget is comprised of a lot of state and federal grant funds and funds that are, specific, whether they're road tax funds or they're Homeland Security grant funds for emergency management or funds for public health and human services. The funds that come out of revenue from the local sources is that $15 million we talk about, that current expense, that general fund. That's what everyone sitting in this room pays when they pay their property taxes. 70% of that $15 million comes from property taxes. The other 30% comes from various funds, and a lot of it is sales taxes. So to increase revenues, you have two options. You either raise property taxes on the individual, which is nobody wants that done. Not the county commissioners, nobody wants to do that. But you got to keep revenues up pace with expenses. So what I envision is working closely with the board, doing economic development. We want more single homes built here. We get sales tax out of the single homes. The single home increases the property value, which increases the property tax. We want more businesses to come into Walla, which increases their property tax, increases sales tax. We want more growth in Walla County to relieve the pressure on the individual property taxpayer to keep up with expenses.
Thank you. We'll have one more round of questions, and then we'll go to the concluding statements. Question for each of you, Mr. Duncan first, then Mr. Ames. Several parts to it. Is the job of the Walla County Commissioner a full-time job? If so, why is it a full-time job? That is, what makes it so? And if it's not a full-time job, how much time will you spend per week being a county commissioner? Starting with you, Mr. Duncan.
Okay, I'll try and stay in the 2 minutes on that one too. It's tough to call it a full-time job. It's not 9 to 5 banker's hours Monday through Friday, but it is a lot of hours. It is a lot of work. They don't just meet one day a week. They have everything they talk about on Monday has been reviewed and researched and looked at very carefully. And the amount of committees and committee groups, and they're on my executive board. They have to come to my meetings. They're on a lot of different boards, and they also do regional meetings. They go to other counties. Their public health is a region. Emergency management is a region. They're always on the road, but they make themselves available. They're my boss, and I've never had a hard time getting a hold of any one of the 3 commissioners, day, night, or weekend. They're always there for me. Now, in my situation, I'm not currently a businessman or a business person like the other county commissioners. If I get elected as county commissioner, I have to resign as the director of emergency management because I can't be my own boss. So, and I would have lots of time. I'd be available all the time. I'd spend a lot of time. One of my campaign slogans or my promise is to review and research every issue brought before the board thoroughly and carefully and make a reasonable, logical decision for the county taxpayer. That takes a lot of hours.
Thank you. Each candidate now will have 2 minutes to summarize or review or... You didn't answer the question. Why didn't you answer the question? I didn't give you an opportunity. All right, I'm sorry. You want to answer the question? Go for it.
Okay.
It's a tough job being a moderator.
As far as a full-time job, I personally have not held a real 8 to 5 job since 1977. Being a farmer and county coroner since 1978, I'm 24/7. So I can guarantee you, you'll get 40 hours a week out of me. I just don't guarantee when that'll be. That's who I am. I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning, so if anybody has a question, feel free to give me a call. As Mr. Duncan stated, the county commission is on many boards. The number of boards that are available and the commissioners are divided up amongst them. A lot of regional meetings. I'm sure there's a lot of paper goes across their desk that has to be reviewed, decisions to be made, call up clarifications, and I believe I'm fully capable of handling that type of a job.
Thank you, Mr. Ames, and I'm sorry that I was not going to allow you to answer that last question. Now that we've heard from both candidates on our last question, we'll give them each 2 minutes to make his closing statement, and then Mr. Ames, and then we'll take a break. Mr. Duncan.
All right, well, thank you again for this opportunity to meet with you and talk to you, and for you to get to know me and me to hopefully get to know you. I think it's important, I'll just touch on my qualifications again real quick. Military leadership experience, education, bachelor's degree, master's degree. I have organizational leadership skills, team building skills, and that team building comes important because you have the county commissioners and you have several elected officials that are elected by the same voters that vote for the county commissioners, and they're voted for specific functions and for specific functions of county business. And and then you have the director, the department heads like myself, who are hired and can be fired, that work for the commissioners, and the commissioners need to build a team that's on the same path with the same goals and objectives for the county, and no, just good teamwork. So team building experience is really important, and of course, financial management. So remember, when you vote for county commissioner, you're voting for the CEO of the county, CEO of a $60 million business with 300 employees. Thank you.
Mr. Ames, 2 minutes.
Well, I want to thank you all for coming here tonight. I guess just review, I have no new information to lend out other than just to keep up with Mr. Duncan. I'm also a veteran of the United States Air Force. I was a lieutenant when they sent me home. But I look at, I'm a decision maker. I accumulate information as situations or problems arise, evaluate the pros and cons to make a decision on the most effective and timely course of action, and then to move forward. I'm good with working with others to form a consensus on the direction an organization is taking. I want to represent the west end of the county, as that I feel that this area has been underrepresented in recent years. And as I stated earlier, I want to be involved in land use decisions. And I think as a farmer and landowner, I have a knowledge base that would allow me to make good decisions for the majority, for the people of the county. Every decision can't please everyone, so we do the best we could for the most people, but still keep the county government functioning smoothly and efficiently.
Mr. Ames and Mr. Duncan, we thank you for participating in the debate this evening. I anticipate that there will be other debates between now and the primary. Certainly between now and the general election, we'll have another opportunity to hear from these two gentlemen, and also, I'm assuming, Mr. Johnson. We're going to take about a 5-minute break, and then we will conclude the candidates forum this evening with the 3 sheriff's candidates responding to questions. So 5 minutes, and then we'll reconvene. Gentlemen, again, thank you very much.